Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate all the time and attention you give us. And know that you folks are busy, and you're taking time out of your busy schedule to come hear us share things with you. You know, in thinking about these summits, you see a lot of companies and their slogans, right? The companies like, just do it, right? That's a slogan. Everybody knows that one. If you have kids, you definitely know this next one, taste the rainbow, okay? Skittles. How about get comfortable being uncomfortable? Anybody know that one? It's a Navy town. That's the Navy SEALs motto. I like that one because I can relate to that in my job. I think we have some technology SEALs at Ingram Micro working hard to deliver solutions every day to make our lives better, to make our jobs easier, and to deliver a business outcome. Ingram Micro has a slogan too, to realize the promise of technology. And there's a key word there, realize, to make real, right? This isn't about thinking about it. It's not about talking about it. It's about doing it and delivering things to our customers and our partners. So we think it's imperative we hold ourselves accountable in everything we do, and we share with you what we said we would do last year and what we've done and what we're going to do next year. And then hopefully we're here next year talking about the things we delivered that we talked about today here at Cloud Summit 10. First, we're going to talk a little bit about some emerging trends. Things like machine learning, AI, BI, these different technologies we hear about all the time. Lots of cool stuff, lots of cool tech, but how do you actually use some of this stuff? What does it mean? And when did some of this stuff come around? You know, talk about AI, artificial intelligence, right? People think that's new. You know, the term AI was coined in 1955. That's pretty old. Essentially, AI is just software that has rules and algorithms that solve problems, like the difference between an apple and an orange, where to move a chess piece in the most optimum spot in a game, or now you can drive your car with AI, or you don't drive the car. AI drives it for you. How about machine learning? That's not new either. That just came out 2 years after AI. 1957 was the first concept. Machine learning is just software that gets smarter because as it solves problems, it figures out the shortcuts to do that. And it brings that back into the code, and it brings that back into the logic, and it solves problems better. Business intelligence, we talk about that. Big data, data lakes, all these buzzwords, data visualization. Sounds cool. We've been collecting data for years, everybody, right, in our businesses. But really, the goal here is to make it consumable and usable to deliver a business outcome. Blockchain, that's a fun one. It's really not that complicated. It's just a chain of blocks, right? They actually probably should have reversed the name. A block is just a ledger. That's just a list of things that got done in a transaction. And each person who touches that gets a new block that's appended. And you chain those together in a blockchain. And that helps you secure things and secure information so it can't be changed later to bring trust and security to different technology relationships. How about serverless, cloud native, platform as a service? That's another big one. Kind of going back to the future here, because this is really how mainframes work. Now the cloud is kind of doing the same thing. You don't have to think about a physical machine, a virtual machine, a container, even an operating system. When you go cloud native and serverless, you're essentially consuming compute, networking, storage, et cetera, as a service from a platform that provides that to you. So these are key technologies we're working on right now and deploying with. The API economy, that's not new either. EDI was invented in 1968. It's just easier to do now because we have things like RESTful APIs. So while these terms may be old or may be new to us, it's important that as they reach a certain level of practicality, they become commercially logical to deploy to deliver a business outcome. What's our technology strategy? We talk about 3 pillars all the time. We like to do things in 3s. It's easy to remember. The hyperscale platform. Essentially, that's the platform to monetize the business of cloud, right? That's things like this digital catalog, ordering and subscription management, provisioning automation. This is important. We'll talk more about that. And then, of course, billing, right? You gotta invoice the customer. You gotta get paid. It's important to provide that capability not only natively out of our CloudBlue platform for our customers to use, but also to plug into other finance systems that they may have. Infinite ecosystem, that's about bringing all of our partners and vendors and customers together so that they can work with each other in a seamless, easy way and deliver anything as a service. And lastly, acceleration services and tools, because having all that technology and putting all those people together is great, but if you don't help them deliver on it and execute on it, then it's not used. So the acceleration services and tools are things like enabling customers with go-to-market strategies and technologies and capabilities, from managed services to assisted sales. Everybody likes this slide. This is the microservice architecture of the hyperscale platform. Let's drill down into this a little bit more. In technology, architecture is everything. You want to build features, that's great, to deliver business value, but if you don't build them on a solid foundation, then it doesn't work the way you need it to, and you can't move quickly in an agile environment. So it's really important to have good design principles. Things like microservices, serverless, like we just talked about, cloud native, using the technologies that are modern to deliver a better business value. Now, as we roll out CloudBlue, you'll see a lot of specific features that foundation then enables. Things like much better pricing management for spot pricing, volume pricing, tiered pricing, variable price models. Cost management, that's important too, because we have to know our margins and how much money we make. Approval workflow for not only order approvals, but for things like discounting, right? Because in this business, we all know there's various things going on that we have to adapt to the different customer requirements. The billing data export, right? Being able to take that billing data, put that either into your BI system or into your accounting system to deal with all the back-end financial transactions that are important. Having things in the catalog that are easier to consume, better catalog management, price management, maintaining SKU proliferation. That's a challenge, right? There's so many different parts floating around, different part numbers. We need to maintain those in a more simplified manner. We'll be doing that as we roll out CloudBlue. Also things around subscriptions, renewals, upsize, downsize, upgrade, downgrade, being able to do all those things seamlessly and easily between our reseller partners to Ingram Micro to our vendors, and keeping that a complete simple transaction chain. Also soon we'll be launching the feature to have draft orders and quoting right from the cloud marketplace. So great to have a platform, but you got to use it, right? So the best way to do that is two ways. One is a great user interface. We announced last year UX1. We betaed in Q3. We were fully globally live in Q4, and we're continuing to make major investments and improvements and expansions to that. It's a very simplified look and feel. We've had great feedback from all of our partners and really appreciate that, and look for more feedback because we want to keep building it and making it better. But not everybody wants to work through a user interface. A lot of people want to work through an API. So building a RESTful API is critical technology so that you can do everything programmatically that you could normally do in a user interface. That makes it easy for us then to integrate to the tools you use every day. Commerce systems, CRM systems, billing systems, PSA systems, BI systems, etc. You like this? Yeah, we don't have this yet. We're working on it, though. When you want to do great things with BI and data visualization, it's important to have that foundation, right? So you need to, first of all, get your databases in order, get your housekeeping in order, right? So having a single master, fully relational database that contains all of the data and has it all linked, that's very important. Next is putting that into a centralized data lake. Now you can build great data visualization, great reports, integrate to third-party BI systems, but you have to have that foundation. So we spent last year building the foundation, and this year we'll be working on the data visualization and reporting that can be built on top of that. So hopefully next year I'll give you a demo of this. Connect to the future. We were going to run a video here, but we changed our mind at the last minute. We announced Connect at Ingram Micro 1. Essentially, Connect is a patented, patent-pending cloud fabric that is essentially a master connector to various vendor partners. In the past, we would build these specific connectors. There's a lot of code, a lot of logic to talk to an ISV's APIs. And we said, well, when we look at this, more and more they become more similar, although they have differences. And rather than building each of these connectors individually, can't we build kind of a master connector that can then produce a low-code or no-code interface with our vendor partners to make it very quick and easy to launch new services to market. I got the idea about a year ago. My background before being in the commerce software business was synthesizable cores. That's essentially software on a chip. And in that world, you have a thing called an FPGA, and it's a field programmable gate array. Basically, it means you can just keep loading new programs in the chip, and it can do whatever the new program is. It's very expensive, and you only really use that in prototyping. When you're going to go to fabrication, you do something called an ASIC, or an application-specific integrated circuit. Those are cheap to make, but they're expensive to tool. So you really want to make sure your software is right before you spend all those millions of dollars in tooling for fabrication. So we said, well, it's cloud, so we don't ever have to tool. We can just build this in a PaaS environment and make it reprogrammable through a user interface wizard. So that means our vendor partners can now go to Connect, self-register, create their service connectors, and then produce either a no-code or low-code integration with a JSON file. And that renders to a work order portal where vendors who don't yet have APIs can pick up the orders and swivel chair back and forth between their system and our system. Or if they do have APIs, build a very simple JSON connector through our RESTful API, and in literally hours, build an integration. So gone are the days of many man weeks, many man months of work to build these deep integrations. Now it's about getting to market fast and simply. There's 3 key modules to the Connect environment. The first one, of course, is the technology platform we just talked about, where you can build these connectors. But we also needed to have the business automation with it. The business automation is the self-registration, self-sign-up, a wizard to walk you through getting registered, dealing with reconciliation and so forth in a fully automated manner, and click-through contracts. In addition to that, we have additional technology coupled with this, the third component, which is the go-to-market enablement. You'll learn about more tomorrow. We talked about blockchain, cool stuff. We've been playing with it, trying to figure out what to do with it in a practical manner for the business. And we think we found something. Looks interesting. So essentially, blockchain, by having this ledger, allows everybody to have a trusted transaction, right? So what's one of the secrets of distribution, or dark secrets of distribution you might find, is there's a lot of reconciliation of purchase orders and sales orders, right? And if you introduce technologies like blockchain, you can eliminate all that. Because now you can have a 3-party trusted transaction between the vendor, the distributor, the reseller, even add other parties to it, the end customer. And so we've been prototyping this in our labs, playing with it, and we're looking to try to deploy this later this year as we find the business applications that make sense. This is the R part of the R&D, where we get to do some research and have some fun. Well, all of this is to power the infinite ecosystem, right? The second pillar that we talked about. So lots of vendor partners, lots of customer partners, and it's important that we connect them all together because the technology is not just there to be technology, it's there to drive a business outcome. Now the CloudBlue platform, powering Ingram Microcloud Marketplace, also enables full syndication for our shared and dedicated PaaS CloudBlue customers, which they can then use that same technology, if you will, that technology plumbing, to leverage their existing vendor relationships directly or work through Ingram Micro if they prefer. Doing a lot of work in infrastructure, a lot of work in infrastructure. It's grown very fast for us over the last year and continues to grow fast. We've got great partners like Amazon, Microsoft with Azure, VMware, IBM. And reselling those is great, and we're very good at that. But we need to do more, right? And so we introduced our infrastructure workbench. Essentially, this is a curated portfolio of tools and partners that you can buy their services through Ingram Micro to help you deliver business value in the infrastructure business, right? Things like managed services, discovery, cost optimization, migration, monitoring, or automated healing. So these are all the components that go on top of that. Many times we think about a product-led service sale, and in this case, we might think about a service-led product sale. By getting the customer to adapt those services from you, you make them much more sticky, and then you can deliver the different technology products or services to them as part of that service. We also launched a center of excellence that is growing very fast, that has deep technology expertise, where we're certifying our engineers to learn how to work with these different technologies and provide these services on behalf of our resellers out to their end customers. About a year ago or two, we talked about the Cloud Orchestrator technology. That's essentially the multi-cloud orchestration that allows you to quickly and easily deliver workloads into any cloud, whether it's on-prem or public cloud. Great technology, and we're working with our CloudBlue service provider customers to deploy that in many places. But we want to use it in Ingram Micro too for our cloud marketplace. And so now we're using that internally to power the deployment of classic software and license keys into appliances running in public cloud or even private cloud. And so look for something very soon to launch around this. We talked about acceleration services. Besides our infrastructure workbench, we now have a variety of acceleration services for different partners. These include things like managed services, professional services, where we'll go in and we'll do optimization exercises. We'll look at their data center requirements and figure out how to migrate them from an on-prem data center into a cloud environment, as well as the go-to-market planning and business services, right? So we have professionals that have programs to help our customers figure out how to sell more, right? That's what it's all about, to accelerate revenue growth, to deliver an outcome. So there's nearly 1,000 technology professionals working hard at Ingram Micro to deliver these technologies and business solutions. The key thing I want to mention what we're doing around our CloudBlue platform and how we're working to optimize that even further is we're currently deploying that in a fully native Azure environment. And what that means is we're running it on top of Azure SQL for the database as a service. We're using the Azure Application Service to run the binary of the core platform. We use Azure Web Service to run the user interface, the Azure API Service to run the API gateway for security and control and optimization and performance, and we use the Azure Data Service for the data interchange. So it's been very important to us to work with Microsoft to optimize the platform in Azure, and it's not just about talking about it, right? It's not about thinking about it, it's actually doing it. And so we've been able to deploy this technology, deliver this to you, and you'll see a lot of additional features coming out through the rest of the year as we roll this out around the world. So thanks for your time and attention today, and me and my teams will be around during the breaks, and look forward to talking to you, answer any questions you have about what we're doing, what we're working on next, or any suggestions you have that we can take to heart to build into our product roadmaps. So thanks very much for your time and attention.